that again. That is motivation for anybody. And then to come back and be destroyed or beaten or whatever circumstance you want to call it in 26 seconds, fuck, man. That's tough to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of, rehab, commitment to getting back to the sport just to even get there. And then for it to also the way that it ends so anticlimactic. It's not even just a loss. Like if you fought a crazy hard fight and then lost, but then to just kind of go like, fuck, dude, 26 seconds later, you're like, I might have it. I get knocked out and now my knee might be injured. I might be out for who knows how long again. Yeah, it's gotta be scary. And look, I watch you do it in a much different way. You were very smart about sort of the way you set up things like the podcast and your other various business endeavors. You're acting, you're doing television stuff. Cain's also just not that dude. Cain's not out there. Like, I don't see him doing like, he's not that charismatic of a personality, or it doesn't seem as much when I've seen him on camera. So it's almost like, what the hell does Cain Velasquez do? He can't like, I don't know. It's just sort of a weird,
Well, for me, it was, I was kind of lucky in some respects. I mean, my main fear as a professional fighter, and I say this all the time, and Dana White even said it, he was thinking about being a boxer back in the day, and he didn't want to be a broke, washed up boxer because that's what happens to most fighters, right? I hate to say it, but a lot of fighters, they go out there, they give their body, they give everything they've got, and then they're just chewed up and spat aside when they're done with, because that's business. That's the harsh reality of all businesses. Once you're no longer a commodity, once you're no longer of use, if you can't win fights, then the show moves on. And that's just the way it goes. So it always scared me. And I was lucky because obviously I had the eye injury. So I knew I was on borrowed time. I knew my career was unwinding. So that forced me to start other endeavors, to start the podcast, to start looking at acting and TV and all that type of stuff. But just going back to Velasquez, I remember Karen said something on the post-fight show. She said, oh, well, at least you lose like that, right? Rather than going 5 rounds. I said, no. I'd rather go 5 rounds and lose a super close fight than 26 seconds. You got to remember, it is embarrassing, but look at all that hard work that goes into that. And when you lose that quick, not that I've ever lost in the first round, Lewis. Let's just get that out there. Well, once, but whatever. Who cares? We're not counting. It's not all about me. You might as well have not bothered. All that training, all that getting out of bed at 5 a.m. and going for runs, all that dieting, all that wrestling, striking, paying for training partners, coaches, flying people in, flying people to Phoenix, hotel rooms, flights, all the rest of it. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of expense for it all to be over in 26 seconds. I mean, that's a tough pill to swallow.
Probably not as tough of a pill to swallow if Cain's listening to this podcast. Jesus, we're really not. We're being so fucking hard on him right now. If he's listening to this podcast, he broke down in tears just now.
I'm not being hard on him. I'm empathizing with him. I really am. I'm putting myself in his shoes. It's like, I feel for the guy. I like the guy. I'm a huge fan of the guy. Yeah. I love watching him fight. So I was so excited for that main event. As I say, it gave me such a rush of adrenaline when they were walking out. I was really looking forward to this fight. And, as a Cain Velasquez fan, as a UFC fan, I wanted to see that. Yeah, and I would like to see a rematch, maybe down the line, because it's like Jose Aldo versus Conor McGregor. That probably isn't going to happen again in 13 seconds if they did fight again. And I dare say if these two fought again, Francis isn't going to take him out of there in 26 seconds. It just ain't going to happen. But that's just the way it went down.
Yeah, I agree completely. And I hope that Cain doesn't have any sort of serious injury. I hope he can bounce back very quickly because I'm a huge fan of his. I mean, just such a badass fighter. And when he's there and when he's healthy and ready to go, he's a monster. It just seems like, I don't want to say it seems like his best days are behind him, but it's just hard. It seems like he just keeps on getting injured, and I think that's sort of telling us to sort of where his body's at.
Well, of course, I mean, I'm not saying his best days are behind him either, but you've got to think, he's been very injury prone throughout his career. Is he going to get less injury prone as he gets older? No, it's the opposite way. As you start getting older, the injuries become more frequent. So if he's torn his knee and he needs surgery, then that's possibly another year out after just having fucking 3 away. That could almost be the end of his career. I'm not saying it is, and I certainly don't wish that. I want to see him back in there, but it's really unfortunate for the guy. It is. So anyway, Congrats to Francis Ngannou.